Welcome everyone to your Spring 2022 pre-advising video. As we get ready for spring registration starting November 8th, this video will provide you with some general information about graduation requirements, important dates and deadlines coming up. We're going to review your student portal on your CSUB student account, reviewing your student center, registration holds. Remember, these are very important. Any registration holds on your account will prevent you from registering on your registration date and time. So we'll keep those really important items in mind. Things on your to-do list, these do not prevent you from registering into classes, but you also need to take care of them. And very importantly, your registration appointment. All of you will have a registration appointment date and time for the spring semester. I will briefly review how to do class searches specific to the Antelope Valley and for your GE requirements in case you have forgotten how to do that. And by now you should have scheduled already a one-on-one either workshop or staff appointment meeting through Zoom. If you are interested on a face-to-face appointment, myself and Selena are both available for on-campus meetings. Please call our front desk if you need to schedule one. The number there is 661-952-5000. When you do your one-on-one, that's when we go into specific requirements for you. Not general requirements, but what do you need to graduate? What classes should you be taking? When is your expected graduation? So on and so forth. There are two staff advisors at the AV Satellite Campus, myself and Selena. You can meet with either of us. And for those of you in CAFS, criminal justice, religious studies, or sociology, you have faculty advisors available for you to meet in addition to the staff advisors. To schedule an appointment, remember we're doing all advising appointments through Runner Connect. All we ask is that you please include your email address in the comments before you save the appointment so that we can email your paperwork as soon as possible. For meeting with a faculty or staff advisor for the service, simply select whatever your major is and then the advising part of it, and then you'll have access to both your faculty and staff advisors that way. Here are your faculty advisors in case you haven't met them yet. Dr. Reed is for CAFS majors, Dr. Taylor is for criminal justice majors, Dr. Lamas for our religious studies majors, and we have two faculty advisors for sociology majors, that is Professor Gibson and Professor Sanchez. The department has assigned you to either Professor Gibson or Professor Sanchez. If you wish to switch your faculty advisor within sociology, let me know and I can assist you with that. A lot of information is posted in my Bitmoji office. Let me point some of them out. Important dates and deadlines are usually on the bulletin board. Information on the GWAR exam. If for any reason you have situations that would require you to do a late add or late drop, you can find the information there. The class override request, which quite a few of you will need for registration in the spring term, is right there. Here is the Zoom link for the walking advising with Selena, Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. I have more tutorial videos in case you need more help with either searching for classes, adding classes, viewing your own official transcripts, etc., etc. Information on the ESM waiver can be found on there as well. This is the academic calendar, a link to Runner Connect so you can schedule an appointment. The tutoring center, IT, if you need help with them. There's a lot of information here in case you need it. Oh, including tuition fees right there. So there's a lot of information available to you 24/7 in case you need it on my little Bitmoji office. The tutoring center also has a Bitmoji office with information. You can find their days and times for their Zoom and in-person tutoring if you want to do whichever one works for you. We have Lauren for our sociology majors, and we have Allison for any writing requirements, regardless of what your major is. She can assist you with that. You can schedule an appointment also through Runner Connect for any of our tutors. If you have tutoring needs besides writing and sociology, remember we also have a free account with nettutor.com. This is free to CSUB students. All you have to do is make sure that you register through the /CSUBNT website. Once you register for an account, you'll have access to all of these other subjects within tutoring. These are all professional tutors with at least a bachelor's degree, but most of them have master's and PhDs. You can do live video, audio, or just chat for your tutoring. You can drop off a question or even drop off a paper. Registration, as I mentioned, for spring and winter begins November 8th. Prior to November 8th, you'll be able to start putting things in your shopping cart, but no earlier than October 18th. I get a lot of inquiries. The classes are not showing up. You need to wait at least until October 18th for classes to be available on the schedule of classes searches. So don't worry if you don't see a particular class posted yet. Every department uploads their classes on their own. So that's why some of them are showing early, some of them are not. If I were you, I would wait until October 18th and then start looking at the dates and times for classes posted. Depending on your major, most classes may continue to be virtual for the spring 2022 term as they are planning the courses during the current guidelines for the university. The hope is that whatever the format is posted for the spring term as of October 18th will remain as listed. Remember that tuition fees are due Thursday before school starts every term, regardless of when you register, so there is no need to delay your registration. Register as soon as your appointment becomes available, so make sure that you've cleared all registration holds so that there is no need to register late. So walk-ins continue to be Monday through Friday 1 to 2, but we will have extended walk-ins during the first week of registration to help students with any quick questions about adds or drops. These are one-on-one private meetings with myself or Selena, but they are only about 5-10 minutes the most. We do not take this time to check your major, check if you should change your major, if you should add a minor, if you should move your graduation date. These are for questions and concerns regarding registering for classes for spring. If you have registration problems, remember, you can always submit an override request if you believe there is a class you qualify for, but the system is not letting you. We can take a look for you and process it if you do qualify to take that class. We continue to use the degree audit for your academic advising. You can find the live degree audit, also known as the academic requirements page, on your My CSUB account under the drop-down menu next to your class schedule. You simply select academic requirements, click double arrows, and it takes you there. A cheat sheet for figuring out what the degree audit says. Anything with a green check mark or a purple triangle has already been met. These are requirements you do not need to do again. They've been done. If it has a yellow diamond on it, it means you have it currently in progress for the fall 2021 semester. As long as you get a passing grade for that course, that requirement will be met. The ones that you're looking for spring registration are the ones with the red squares. These are courses that are needed. We highlight that for you when we give you a PDF printout just to make sure you don't miss it, but the information is the same on the live document. It will say how many you need for a particular requirement. In the PDF paperwork we sent you, we add additional notes to it, such as take ASAP, this class is usually only offered in fall or only offered in spring, so that you don't miss it when it's offered. We also include your unit tally at the end of the paperwork just to make sure you're on track for your 120 units required for the degree, with no more coming from a community college and no more than 90 coming from any other institution. We do make sure to differentiate between your required classes and your university electives. If your university electives says a 0, that means you don't need electives. You can just do your required courses and you'll be good to go. We also keep track of your upper division units. These are the 3,000, 4,000 level courses, and at least 24 of those need to be done at CSUB, that's what we call residency. And we do keep track of your residency units. You need a minimum of 30 overall. Most of you end up taking more than 30. So it's a non-issue, but we want to make sure that we also keep track of those. For your GPAs, there are 4 different types of GPAs: your CSUB, your major, your minor, if you have a minor, and your overall GPA. All of these must be above a 2.0 in order for you to graduate. If this is your first semester at a CSU, you will notice that we use a plus or minus grading system. What that means is that you will not see solid grades A, B, C, D, F. You'll see A minus, B plus, B minus, C plus, so on. What grade is considered passing depends on the course itself. Some GEs, for example, you can get a D on those and it's passing, but some GEs like the GUAR require a C minus or better. So it depends on the class. I would recommend looking at the course description to figure out which one's which. A lot of the grading requirements are for your major classes, but like I mentioned, the GUAR is not a major class, yet it does need a C minus or better. So make sure that you read the description of the course very well. Now, although D is passing in some of these courses, remember that we still need to worry about having a 2.0 GPA in all the different areas that we need to graduate. So you're going to see most of the impact on your first semester, so that if you get mostly C's but a C minus, E falls below the average because a C minus is a 1.7, and even though the rest are 2.0, it ends up just a little short of 2.0, and you might end up on academic probation. Academic probation happens when your overall or your CSUB fall below a 2.0. We can assist you with information on academic probation if and when it is needed. Credit, no credit classes do not affect your GPA. These are pretty rare though. Things like internships tend to be on the credit, no credit basis, and there are a few electives, university electives, that you can take a pass or fail. Most of your major, if not all, pretty sure, except for the internships, and your GEs need to be taken for a letter grade. You don't have the option for pass or fail on these classes. In your student center, so very important, your holds, possible holds you may have on your account. Student financial services, if you owe money to the university. Student financial agreement, you're supposed to do this once per academic year. It's kind of like a disclaimer on how tuition fees work. You read it, you acknowledge you read it, and then that hold goes away. Your advising hold is the one that will clear once you meet with a faculty or staff advisor for this term. Most of you will have a hold this time around. If you have a probation hold, it means that your GPA, your overall or your CSUB has fallen below 2.0, and you'll have to see someone at the AARC office to clear a probation hold. Judicial affairs hold is the sexual harassment training. We're all required to do at least once per academic year. And then the health services hold has to deal with your immunization records. Each hold will specify which vaccination it is for. Once you submit your vaccination records, they will go ahead and clear that hold for you. Do not delay. Depending on which hold you have, it may be cleared right away, it may be cleared within 24 hours, it may be cleared within 1 to 2 weeks. It depends on what the hold is and who is taking care of that hold. The only hold I, myself, your faculty, or your staff advisor can assist you with is your advising hold. Any other holds you would need to clear through the proper channels in order to be able to register. Items on your to-do list, these do not affect your registration. These are things you need to do, but won't prevent you from registering. A lot of these have to do with financial aid, but some of you have your to-do item to be like, take the GUAR, either the class or the exam, and this doesn't mean that you have to take it that specific term. They just don't want you to forget that the GUAR exists and that you have to take it at some point. Okay. The advising hold is supposed to be there every academic year. I know they kind of like took it away for some time because things were a little uncertain. I think we're back to having it every academic year. If you don't feel like you need to come in for academic advising because you already have everything planned, or you just recently met with an advisor and went over your classes for spring anyways, let me know and I will go ahead and clear that hold for you. Otherwise, whether you sign up for a workshop or a one-on-one advising appointment, that advisor will clear that for you. Here is where you'll find your enrollment registration date, and you'll just have to click on details to view the actual time. The time is very important because if you try to register at 8 a.m. and your appointment is at 1 p.m., it'll continue to give you errors and say you don't have a valid registration appointment. So check your date and your time before you try to register for classes. If you're interested in winter classes, there is a few things you need to be aware of. The first one is you are limited to one class only. It says up to 4 units, but it's still one class. So if you enroll in a 1-unit class, that's it. That's your one course limit. It will not let you register for more than one class. So pay attention to which class you're taking and how many units that class is. Usually winter lasts for about 10 days. And this time it should be January 3rd through January 14th unless they change this information. I will make sure to put that link for the extended university programs on the course, on the video description, so that you have access to this information directly. Tuition fees are about $350 per unit. There is no financial aid available, there is no payment plans available, and there is no fee waivers available. So all students interested in winter will have to pay out of pocket for their tuition fees. As long as you're aware of these and you are okay with taking winter classes, we can talk about your winter enrollment. Okay. For your spring classes, when you do your searches for your major or minor classes, make sure that you always include the subject, child, adolescent, and family studies, criminal justice, sociology, business administration. Leave the show open classes only checkbox marked. It is there by default. I would say leave it there unless you're graduating and you're registering late. For those of you who have applied for spring 22 graduation, you should get priority registration, which is the first day of registration in the morning. So you shouldn't need to look for closed or waitlisted classes at this point. But if you happen to be registering late for whatever reason, then you can uncheck that just to see if there's any other choices that you need to go through. Okay, you have to make sure to click the additional search criteria to extend the filters at the bottom, which will allow you to view things like the location of Antelope Valley at the bottom. This helps you filter classes available at the AV satellite only as opposed to both main campus and AV. So very important, click on additional search criteria, select location Antelope Valley, that's it, just Antelope Valley, before you click search. If you don't put the filter of the location of Antelope Valley, the problem is it will give you results for other classes, but when you try to register for the classes, it will give you a registration error because you haven't met the requisite of the class being available at AV. So for example, let me see. You can tell main campus classes from your AV classes not only by filtering the location as AV, but also you can see there in the enrollment requirements that it says main campus. This is an enrollment requirement, okay? This is not a suggestion. This is not just letting you know the class is offered at main campus. I get this question a lot. Well, it's an online class. This is an enrollment requirement. If you do not meet the main campus enrollment requirement, you do not qualify for this class. If you submit an override request and you say, well, this is just online, I should be able to add it, you don't meet the enrollment requirement simply because it's an online class. So Anything that says enrollment requirement main campus is restricted to main campus, just like anything listed for Antelope Valley is restricted to Antelope Valley students. So it goes both ways. If there is a class that it's not offered at the AV satellite campus, and notice the and, you need this class in order to keep your expected graduation, then you can submit an override request. If it's just a time or an instructor preference, we cannot override you into a main campus class. We are not authorized to do so. We can only do so if it's going to negatively impact the student as far as graduation is concerned. If the class, there are some classes that you can search for that without the filter of main campus, the filter of Antelope Valley. It is a main campus class, but the enrollment requirement says main or AV. And I know it says AVC, which is confusing to us because to us that's Antelope Valley College, but it actually means Antelope Valley Campus. If it's listed as main or AVC, it means there is no override needed. This class is available for both main campus students and AV students, and you can register for this class without the need of an override request. Hopefully this makes sense, because I get a lot of questions about main campus classes, so I'm hoping this will be useful. Do your class searches for general education requirements. The main things here is make sure the subject is blank, because it's going to search by category, not by subject. We're going to keep the open classes only checkbox. Again, it's checked by default. We're just going to leave it like that, same as before. You're going to click on additional search criteria to see the rest of the filters here. We're still going to do location Antelope Valley, but now we're going to choose a course attribute. This right below the location. Under course attribute, you'll have the following choices. The graduation writing assessment, which is your GWAR, the junior year diversity requirement, the JYDR. Some of you have this in your major. If you do, don't look for another one. And then your upper division general ed. The upper division general ed course attribute allows you to choose a attribute value in which you can now choose your B, C, or D upper division requirements. Okay, so that's when you need your upper division B, upper division C, upper division D. You can view this if you select upper division general ed in the course attribute section. Once you do that, then you can click search and it'll give you all the classes available within those GE sections. If you need more help when it comes to searching for classes or even validating classes allows you to review any prerequisite errors you might encounter prior to the beginning of registration so that there's no surprises, and it allows you to submit your override request sooner. I highly recommend that you do the validating process. If you already know how to add classes but you don't know how to validate, you can fast forward to 6 minutes and 30 seconds of this video and it'll just show you the validation part of that. I would highly recommend that you subscribe to the YouTube channel simply because anytime a subject comes up, either a new procedure, a new requirement, or anything to that effect, I post a tutorial video for it. If you have an idea for a tutorial video that you think would be useful to other students, let me know and I'll add it. Prior to your advising appointment, make sure you review your advising paperwork that we send you in advance. Make sure you review unit tallies, make sure they look correct. Watch any tutorial videos you think are helpful to you. Try and search and or add your classes to your shopping cart prior to meeting with an advisor. That way we know what errors you are running into and we can assist you get through them. Make sure that you clear any of the holes other than the advising hole because we're going to help you clear that one. And make sure that you write your questions down. Don't forget, so that you don't forget them during your appointment, and try to make the most out of your time with an advisor. Don't forget your appointment, okay? Because this is the heavy advising period. If you miss your advising appointment, you're likely to have to wait a week or two to reschedule that appointment. So set a reminder on your phone, on your calendar, whatever you use, so that you don't miss your advising appointment. Hopefully this information has been helpful. If there's anything you need, please don't hesitate to let us know. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.